Welcome everyone, welcome to the Live at 5 D2D stream, where essentially what we're doing tonight is a Q&A session with our panel of experts over here. And what we're going to be Q&Aing is kind of like what do you expect for your first year out of high school? Because there's a lot of conflicting information out there, and a lot of parents went through it, but it's changed a lot throughout the years. So we're here to bring our experiences and to answer any questions that you guys might have, and to kind of just have a discussion, just to give you guys more information and just to make you maybe make your minds feel at ease about the decisions you make. So we're just going to go around and just tell you who we are and what we do and all that stuff. You guys might recognize some of these guys from classes when those were still a thing. Some of you might not recognize them because we kind of hop around, but to start off with, I'm Neil. I pretty much go to VP and Pearson, and what I'm doing at the moment is I'm doing my honors in computer science at NMU, so I've had 4 years of university, and I'm also working at the moment as a software developer.
Hi guys, I'm Joel. I'm doing architectural technology, and I'm also on a data science learnership.
Hi guys, I'm Peter. I'm second year BCom accounting at NMU. Yeah,
Hi, I'm Marco. I am gap yearing this year after matric, and I am also doing a course with Data Dance project management course.
My name's Tara. I'm also gap yearing, and I'm also doing the project management course with Data Dance.
Oh wait, shotguns. So basically tonight's kind of really just an informal, formal discussion about anything that you guys kind of want to hear. So if you maybe have questions for any of us after being like, hey, he might know something about what I want to know about, then just pop a question in the chat. We got our technicians on it there, and they're going to be reporting to us. And yeah, and also even if you don't have questions, just drop your name and your school that you're from and your grade, just that we can kind of like guess where you guys are from and kind of what to speak about.
Yeah. Jade from Pearson says hi.
What's up, Jade?
Stefan from Alex.
Hey,
Stefan.
So yeah, So to kind of like kick this off. So the big thing is like hindsight is 2020, right? So the big thing I want to ask you guys is like, what did you think this year would be like? Like kind of like, you know, like disregarding kind of what COVID eventually turned it into. Kind of, what did you think like this year would kind of be like? Dieter, let's start with you, man.
Well, I thought, okay, second year, I'm gonna work harder, I'm gonna actually get those distinctions. I planned on getting last year,
You're lying.
but again, big whoop. Yeah, I just thought I was gonna work hard and get it done, but now I'm working hard and getting it done. But by getting it done, I mean like assignments due at 12 in at 11:59, bro. 50%. That's good enough, bro.
That's how it is, man.
51, distinction.
51's a distinction. Yeah, man. It's like it's always like that, man. You go into the new year and you're like, new year, new me. I'm gonna work hard this year. I'm gonna do my homework. I'm gonna I'm gonna study hard, and then like the year kind of goes along as like, cool, yeah, kind of thing. But you three, you're doing the learnership and helping out here. You're kind of studying as well.
Yeah.
So what was like what did you expect of like doing the learnership and studying?
I think because obviously it's my first year out of school, so I expected a lot. Like I kind of knew what I wanted to do and what I wanted to accomplish. So stepping into the data science learnership, obviously that helps with the field that I'm going into eventually, which is architectural technology. So the project management side really helps me out because I'll obviously be managing products. I mean, well, projects and products.
Shop.
Yeah, so yeah, products as well because later I want to like this year as well. I was planning on starting like a fashion line because I'm into like obviously architectural technology plays a big part in designing. So designing in any field that's eventually in the future I like to touch on everything. But just trying to get everything done, trying to get my foot in the door. But obviously COVID, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But man, like speaking about that design, like there's a couple of girls that like I seen on Instagram that like I knew from high school that they went out of like high school and then they started their own kind of like clothing brand line and they're like popping off.
Yeah.
So like that's a viable thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of mad. Like Marco, you've had a bit of an up and down here, kind of in terms of what you're doing. What did you think this year would be like?
So, for this year, my plans were based on my marks of last year. I didn't do so great. So my main plan was to rewrite my exams at the end of the year so I could qualify for something next year that I want to study, which I've been studying. I've been getting my marks up there slowly, you know. But yeah, I had big plans, but it all doesn't work. It doesn't always work out the way you want it to, you know. But what I did see myself doing is taking this gap year, planning on my gap year, working through my gap year while trying to up my marks, which I did. Very happy about that. But my main plan was just to work through the gap year, up my marks, and then hopefully study the following year.
Okay. And Tara, what about you?
Well, I also planned on my gap year. I knew that I didn't want to study straight out of school for many reasons. I didn't want to go straight into a learning environment like that so quickly after school, and also because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do and I didn't want to chop and change what I was studying. So I decided to take a year and to figure out what I wanted to do and to kind of work on myself a bit. And I didn't expect a lot. I just kind of took it in and was like, okay, let's see what happens. And, you know, and a lot did happen, which was actually very beneficial to me in a lot of ways.
Would you guys consider a gap year being just not studying or like not studying and not working? So like if I went out of high school and then I just like started working and then I started studying, would that be a gap year?
I think I have a good answer for that one.
Okay.
A gap year, you can have a gap year with no working or doing nothing, right? But it's not a profitable gap year.
Yeah.
You want a gap year, if you're going to take one, you want to gain something out of that gap year. So, for in my case, I did or in our two cases, our gap year, because you study. But in our gap year, we did I did the working, and then we also did the project management course, which we're not working full time, but it's going to help us in our future. So if you're going to take a gap year, you want to take something that can at least profit. You want to do something that will profit you in the future.
Yeah, like I think gap years are super important, especially like for your reasons. Like you don't know what you actually want to study.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm gonna study, but I don't know what. And like so many of the guys that I've been like, because I graduated last year, right? And like 70% of the guys that like I started off with ended up like switching courses like 2 years in. Like, so they wasted 2 years of like money and time, like studying something that they didn't actually want to, but because they felt like, oh my word, I need to go study, kind of thing. I can't take a gap year. That they ended up wasting way more time than they should have.
I think also touching on that, just like people, bridging courses are very underrated. So I'm doing bridging course this year for architectural technology. Just to test out how the industry is, because I only decided last year that I was going to do architectural technology because I was in between foam, again like the design creative side, so in between foam and architectural technology, and bridging course really helped with that because now obviously I know I'm not wasting my time, but that also helps out because you're not wasting money, time, and now you know how the industry works, what you want to do, your interests, and work on your passions. I think passion is a big deal. So, bridging courses help out with that a lot. So, not wasting money or time.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, speaking about gap year, we have a video from someone who took a gap year, and she did brilliant. She started a charity. She did loads in her gap year because she didn't kind of really know what she wanted to study. Okay, so we're gonna go to that video now. But actually, first we're gonna have a video from a guy who matriculated last year, Jason Jonas, and you guys can hear what he felt about like coming out of high school and now like his experience this year.
My first year out of high school. It was something interesting. I enjoyed it. School is better. Don't regret it. But you really become big when you're out of school.
Hi guys, my name's Amy. I matriculated in 2016. In 2017, I took a gap year and I was an assistant dance instructor at Dare to Dance with Hadrian and Taryn. The only way to describe it was a never-ending adventure. I definitely would do it again. In 2018, I started my BA Psychology degree at Nelson Mandela University. Definitely a work hard, play hard situation. My advice to you guys is to live in the moment and just enjoy every aspect of being young.
There we go. All right, so like that was Amy Erasmus and Jason Jonas. Yeah, so what Amy did was she actually kind of did what you guys are doing, and she kind of hopped around classes and she helped out in what do you guys think? Like, okay, so obviously that's on offer for the matriculants of this year to come in next year. If you guys are wondering, we actually have one person lined up already. So that yes, we have one person lined up for that already. Do you guys like after this year? Okay, obviously this year kind of sucked in terms of dancing. But like, would you guys rate it's viable? Like what are you guys actually kind of doing with this gap year with DTD? Like I just want to touch on that.
Well, I think that, okay, besides all the not dancing and stuff, I think in a way that the COVID happening and stuff, it was kind of good for the brand because we actually got to sit down a lot and talk about like a lot of insights and a lot about where we all think that we can go or where we want to go and ways to help. And like that, I felt that kind of helped me as well because I got to be a part of a brand where I could give my personal input and I could name something.
I'd also like to say upon that, I also do feel like it is a good thing, not like good thing we went through it, but that did help us and the brand because we've now been able to go through different avenues that we wouldn't have gone through before, like the online classes and all that.
Yeah.
Normally we'd just be, in now we got time, we sat down, and we were put in a place where we had to come up with creative ideas, and we managed to come up with that. Which also, once again, I don't think we would have been able to do and achieve and accomplish without the project management course that we went through.
I really think that this is preparing us for the working world. Because stuff like this happens all the time, not necessarily COVID, but situations where you thrown into the deep end, like work things out. So yeah, basically we were pushed, and that's what I like about the data dance. They really push you to get yourself grow, and yeah, basically they take another step.
Okay, and then the kind of the elephant in the room with what Jason said, well, at least elephant for me, said school was better than his first year out. Would you guys, because personally, like, okay, everyone said, enjoy high school, it's the best 5 years of your life, you know, kind of thing. And like that's like all the old people, it's the best 5 years of your life, enjoy it. And I mean, high school wasn't like unenjoyable for me. Like I understand for like a lot of people, like it sucks, you know, like there's a lot of guys that like go through high school like, oh my word, I just want these 5 years to be done, you know, but like that wasn't me. But I don't know if like I feel like being out of high school is way better. Like, do you guys think it's?
Yeah, I think I know that high school has a very big impact on a lot of people's mental health. And like I know it kind of had a bit of an impact on me because I didn't realize it straight out of high school, but like even a few months into this year, I was like, I looked back and I thought of how much like I've changed since high school, like my mentality and like all that kind of stuff. Like one thing in particular is that I used to be sick a lot during high school, and I only kind of realized after high school that I think it was a lot of the stress that made me sick, because I don't have that anymore. So it is.
High school is stress. Like it's 7 subjects, you know, and like you go through a whole 8 hours in a day, and you got a test like every other day, and you still go home and go. Like high school is stressful, man.
I hated high school. That's all I'm saying. I hated it, but that's because I felt like I was being forced to do certain things that I didn't want to do. So, like for me, bio, even though I chose the subject, you know, the subject choice, I had to choose bio. So, and obviously now it's not, it didn't prepare me for the industry I'm going into. But I just felt like high school, like the schooling system is just designed for a certain type of student. Like I learned practically. So I need to be free, I need to be in an environment where I find stuff out myself. So I think that going into my first year outside of school, I'm no longer in a bubble where I have to do this. Like this is the only way to do it. There is like other ways where I can find out things, and you're just not in this net where there's only one way to do it. And I think that high school really just keeps you in, it limits you. So yeah.
I think Digital, you'll agree with me when I say like university is way better. Like it's harder than high school. Like it's
harder. It's just high school. They give you your time and they give you your stuff, and like this is what you do today, that's what you do tomorrow, and so on.
Yeah.
Where university is more like here's the choices of classes you can take. You can either go in the morning or you can go in the afternoon. And you can make your own schedule.
Yeah.
Which is what I enjoy about university a lot. Because I can fit in my schedule and do what I want.
Yeah, university is a lot more flexible, and like it's really pros and cons, because like you're like in my second year, Sundays I would have like 1 class a day. You know, so I'd go in and I'd be home 2.5 hours later. But then other days I'd like be there at like 7:45 and then leave at like 4:30. You know, it's because there's like wait times in between classes and all stuff. But like for me, university is just so much better than high school, because like subject choices in high school are very limited. Like, you know, you have to take like 7. You know, and like even if you don't want to do maths at all, never, whether it be like math lit or math core, you know, you have to take a math. Whereas I would have loved to rather take like art instead of math, you know, kind of thing. Because like I took accounting, right? And like I enjoyed accounting, you know, to a degree, but like I went into software dev because I found IT like really cool. So like I think university is a lot better as long as you're doing something that you want to. Like
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you need to do what you're passionate about because like in high school now I did like accounting, physics, bio. When do I ever do physics or bio now?
Yeah.
I don't. But I like for accounting in university I thought, okay, cool, we're gonna go in, we're gonna do just accounting.
Yeah.
But now when I got there, I was like, whoa, there's business and there's statistics and all that kind of stuff. So it is that little bit, but it all links in with the course in the total. Because if you look at it, second year, some of the first year subjects, you're like, oh, okay, that's why. So it does make sense. So like for high school, those extra subjects, I'm not using anymore.
I also think with the course and the direction I'm going in now, because it's my passion, my marks are getting better. Obviously now, because I was at high school, I was forced to do certain things. When you find your passion for something, the marks will automatically get better because you want to learn more, you want to do certain things, you want to push yourself. So passion does really play a big role.
There's Jade from Alex that said hi.
what's
up,
up,
Jade?
Alex?
I would like to say, you mentioned the bubble of school keeping in. For me, I quite like that bubble. Looking now from where I am now, not so much. But even if you're in high school and that time and you look at it and it's not so nice, they keep you there and you don't have any real worries. So it's good to be in, it's nice to be in high school because this is what you have to worry about. It's so small, you know. So I think that for me would be a reason why I would rather prefer high school. But I do not like that. I would have liked if they prepared us more for out of high school because you're in the bubble of high school, but you're in real world. And you know,
They don't prepare you for that big jump.
Yeah.
It is like it's a big difference. Like for high school, you have to be in class, you have to get stuff done. University is like you want to come to class, if you don't.
Especially-
we really don't care.
Especially now with COVID, like if I don't want to log on to my new Zoom class,
You don't have to.
then I don't have to.
Sorry, I've got
So,
all the struggles.
yeah.
Like,
So,
Yeah. No, high school is it's a huge jump, and a lot of teachers say like, oh, this is preparing you for after high school, but I still don't know how to do my taxes. Right? Yeah, that's the classic example. And there's a big jump. Like I found that with a lot of people, like it's really a make or break because like you get to your like first year out, and it's like all of a sudden you have all the freedom, you have all the rope to like hang yourself essentially, but like nowhere to put the rope, you know, kind of a thing. Like you have all these different ways that you can go. Like, do you go to lectures? Do you not? You know, do you submit the assignments? Do you skip this one? You know, and it's a lot more free, and there isn't that bubble. But like, so like I asked my mates before like came here, I was like, hey, if you could tell your matrics off like one thing, you know, like what would you tell them? And like a lot of them said like, don't worry about like what you have to be now, because like high school, it's a bubble, it's a box, you know, and like you have to behave this way, because like once you get out, you can be whoever you want to be, you know, you can do what like, and I think that's also important, kind of that like. Because for me, like I wanted to study initially, right? So something like it's kind of similar to what I'm doing now, but like very different, in the same sentence. And my dad was like, "Nope, you're doing this. You're doing like you should do this, you know, kind of thing." And then I was like, "Okay, compromise. What about this thing that's kind of halfway in between there, you know?" And like I'm really enjoying it now, but like a lot of the aspects that like came from kind of his side of the decision, you know, with like all of those modules, like I was like, I really didn't like this, you know. Kind of. So I think it's like really important, like for like not only like parents to understand that like, especially for mental health, you need to have like you need to do what you want. Yeah, well,
Okay, we've got some feedback here. We've got Taslin from Alex saying hi. Stefan made sure to say hi again. We've got a whole bunch of Alex people. Janae, do you guys remember Janae?
Yes.
Janae, yes, shout out to Janae. And then Taslin had a question. She asked, how do you know what you want to do? That's a very good question. She's going in high school, feels less pressure, and sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. It's a really big choice. So how do you go about making that decision? So how do you know, and how did you guys go about making that?
I just want to jump in on this. And I want to say, I hate that schools make you choose subjects when you're 15, like you're in grade 9. Right?
Yeah, no.
Because those are big decisions to make. Because essentially, like, so for me, I knew that I wanted to do IT after high school because I had done IT in high school. And I was like, programming is sick. Hell yeah, I'm like a hacker man, you know, kind of thing. I wasn't really, I was just making buttons do stuff. You know, and I was like, oh. But like, if I didn't do IT, because in grade 9, 15-year-old me was like, maybe like history, you know, kind of thing. Like, so it is hard, but yeah.
So just touching on Kevin's question, what I did was I took everything that I'm interested in, and obviously none of that was according to what I did at school and all my subject choices, because I hated it obviously. But okay, from my opinion, my side, how I actually did it was film. I did photography, videography on the side. I love editing, and what I found most of the time was I was very interested in buildings. So I would take pictures of buildings all the time. My main interest was like, how does this work? I like the way things look, like the design elements. And obviously I didn't want to study fashion, but like the next one up is designing buildings and interest touching on that. So take your interests, you don't have to write them down, but just think about what you enjoy now and how that will influence your future. Like go according to that. It doesn't necessarily like I did. I don't do anything with bio now, but I'm very happy because it's my passion. So choose your interests over money, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Some more shout outs here, guys. So say hello to Karen Human from Alex. Sino is from VP. Lulu is from Theodore.
What's up, man? Your Theodore. Yeah. For me, I'd say like you have to go with your interests. Like look at your YouTube recommended like videos. You know, kind of like what are you like watching? Like what is keeping you up till like 1 a.m. lying in your bed like on your phone? You know, kind of like because obviously that's what you're interested in.
Except the manga.
Except don't start killing people in a spaceship for a living. So yeah,
just I think going back to what I said about choose your interest over money. I think if you plow yourself into your interest for a long enough time, like right now I'm not a millionaire, but hopefully in the future, you know. But if you plow yourself into your interest, eventually it's gonna pay. Because through hard work and dedication, good stuff must come. So right now, if it doesn't seem like there's gonna be a way, like choose what you want to do, and eventually, you know.
I just like to say upon the choose your interest over money thing. For me, I've done a lot of like jobs working. I've been like body works, engine mechanic. I've done grocery stores. I've done deliveries. You know, I've been a barman, and those are all small jobs. It's not obviously what I want to be in the future. But you know, if you think about then your interests, like my interest would be I want to help my family. I enjoy helping my family. My interest is also gaming. But I'm not going to make a million bucks over gaming. But what I want to say is all that is I had an interest in all that, but the thing I want to do in my future, my job, it doesn't align with all that. So if you have these interests and you're like, okay, I have to set on one of these, yeah, maybe you know, 9 out of 10, that's going to be what you want to be in the future. But if at some point you are the 1 out of 10 that decides later on, or not, hopefully not too late on, but later on you decide, you know, I was interested in this, but not exactly what I want, then it's perfectly fine because we all change. We all do change, you know. We aren't the same people we were 5 years ago. So, yes, interest of money, definitely. But that's not to say don't forget about the money.
Another thing I just want to add is you need to think of yourself as a person.
Yeah.
Because like for me, I enjoy lists and like I enjoy when things work out. Which is great because accounting, you need to make sure everything balances.
Yeah.
So my OCD is like, yes, well done. So you also need to think of what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
I also think that you don't have to set your vision on what because you want to do now because eventually there's going to be jobs that exist in the future that don't exist now. Like for this whole COVID thing, people are sanitizing houses.
Yeah.
Last year that didn't exist.
Yeah.
So whatever you choose now, you can always branch into something else in the future, or you can merge what you want to do, compromise your gaming with your construction.
Yeah.
You can do software, VR, showing people like through virtual reality how the buildings will look or whatever through IT and stuff. I think.
Yes, so we've got two more people. Hashil from Westring says hello. Bushle from Collegiate says hello. And a question. So Tasman asked another question. Well done, Tasman. She's asking, so how does applying to varsity works? If you do not have enough points or high enough percentages, how can I make up for that to meet the requirements? So,
I suppose this is me. A lot of the times you can write, I forget what they're called, but I'm gonna call them supplementary exams. So basically, you'll like be like, hey, yo, I have like 3 or 4 points, like too little, whatever, and they'll be like, okay, come write the supplementary exam, and then you go, you write it. It's generally just like kind of like a maths, English,
It's really simple.
and I think maybe CAT.
No,
It's maths,
a
English.
comprehension.
It's
And
comprehension.
then there's basic math, and then there's like grade 9 math or so.
Yeah. So you write a supplementary exam, and a lot of time like that'll like boost you up to like get in there and whatnot. And then as for just general applying to universities, was that a question? If you're asking like, hey, which university do I apply to? That go to the one that you can.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'm not saying like, oh, go to a university, you know, because like, university is not for everyone. Like, really, it isn't. Like even though like there's a big push, you know, like you gotta matriculate, you gotta go to university, you need to get your degree so that you can get a job, so that you can, you know, like it's really like that, like, but you know, look at what's available to you, and like you can always move universities later on if you get that opportunity, because a lot of the universities you'll be able to like carry over credits from your different subjects that you've done, and then you can switch over to wherever you want to be eventually.
I think with doing short courses as well. Maybe if you don't have enough points to go into a certain university, doing courses after high school, some of those points you can carry on to get and add on to your matric certificate. I think to get into the course you want to do, and like I think colleges are underrated as well.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to get a degree. You can get a diploma and work yourself up in the working environment. So if you feel like you're not getting into university, you shouldn't just shrug your shoulders because there are other opportunities that you can use.
okay, Cardin has, so Taryn will jump in there. Hello, Taryn.
Hello, everyone.
So Cardin asked another follow-up questions on this whole applying to varsity.
Yeah.
When you're applying to uni, which results do you use? Or do you just use trials and your final marks? And then the second question is it true that at some universities, CAT is not recognized as an actual subject? A lot of people have been saying this. Okay, so great.
Those are questions that are very specific, so I'm going to dodge them because I don't know the specific answers, but I can tell you this, is that every university is different. So what to get into, let's take mechanical engineering. So taking mechanical engineering and applying to Nelson Mandela University, the points required is very different if you're applying to Stellenbosch. So it's extremely important that you start basically looking around at all those university websites. And if you decide you want to study mechanical engineering, go and have a look at it on all the university websites and look at what are the entrance requirements. One of the questions was, what if my marks aren't good enough? So Neil was talking about the benchmark test, I think that's what it is,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
benchmark
yeah,
test.
yeah.
So that will tell you where you fit in. But also a lot of courses do something called an extended course. So for example, Beaker, your nursing qualification, instead of doing your first year in 2021, you actually take your first year of Beaker over 2 years. And that's an extended curriculum. So they break the course down, so the entrance is much lower. You get in, you do your first year over 2 years, and then you get merged into second year with the other learned students, and you get merged into mainstream. So that's an example of an extended course, and extended courses exist in different departments and faculties. It's extremely also important for you to understand what universities, how they work. So Nelson Mandela, I think, has 7 faculties. I'm not quite sure what those are, but for example,
Schools.
Education,
Yeah, there's education, science, commerce, business.
health sciences, arts, etc., etc. Within those faculties, there are departments, okay? And then within those departments, there are courses that follow. And all those courses have different subjects. So it might seem overwhelming, and everything is overwhelming when you start looking at it for the first time. So it's important to start familiarizing yourself, and everything that the staff have been speaking about is so real. You are not, you know what's so nice is that if you make the wrong decision, there's a way out.
Yeah.
It's always if you go to jail or, it's okay. You're going to learn from that. And I think the important thing is, once you make that mistake, it's how you pick up from that and move on. So everything that they said is extremely important, and also realize that each and every one of you are unique. So Neil's journey to where he is different to Joel's, to Dieter's, to Marco, and to Tyler's, but they're still going to end up being successful in some way or form, and it's what they regard as success. If you regard money as success, that's how you view it. If you regard my relationships of integrity and honesty as important, it's what you view as success. So it's really also what Tyler was saying is, what is going on in my life and what do I want for my life? And start surrounding yourself with people that can encourage you and support you, but also knowledge is power. So find out as much as possible. So the questions you're asking us are great. Now go and find the actual answers to that. So I'm going to encourage you, go to the websites, go to the TVET college websites, all of that, because here and online, there are people that, like Janae is studying at CPUT. So is it CPUT is not in the Eastern Cape. That's one, Janae. So Janae, you could possibly just type and say, give us the website address and just tell us your little experience over there, because it's rich. And the more information you have, the easier it is to actually make a qualified decision. Awesome.
Yes.
Another one?
Just one more question. You can possibly touch it and then hand it over to the panel. So we've got Tasman. She asked another 2 questions. The first one is a gap year beneficial if you do not know what to do? How can you go about research, about courses and the field?
Okay.
I take it that she's
I
interested
definitely
in.
want to answer that question.
And secondly, how do classes at varsity work? Is it an everyday thing like school with a set schedule, and the panel can pick that
There you
up?
go. So I agree with everything that the panel discussed, and I need to just tell you about gap years. So gap year, in terms of the panel, is awesome. When parents hear gap year, they're like, no! And I'm going to be that transition person. So when I grew up, gap year, it was anti-gap year. When I went to varsity, my parents were like, no, gap year is of the devil, there's just no. When I started teaching, I was like, there's no way people, you're going to get lazy in that year. And now with my experience within teaching, science and dance, I realize how beneficial a gap year can be, as long as what has come from this table, as long as it's structured. So a gap year is not beneficial when you take a year off.
Yeah.
When you wake up at 12 o'clock, still in your pajamas, eat and go sleep.
Yeah.
That is not a gap year. That's just a year of laziness. But if you find and get plugged into a program that really starts challenging you, like what Tyler was saying, starts forcing you to look at who is Tyler, who is Joel, or start getting your hands dirty, maybe digging a garden. You've never done that. Start working with charities, start working with people that you may never have mixed with or in formed relationships with. Start learning skills that you may not have learned at school, but those skills are going to set you up for success in university or whatever you're going to do. If the year is structured and even finding out what you're going to do in that year is important, then a gap year is really good because, like Neil was saying, first year of varsity or any studies is expensive. And then somebody asked, where do you go and study? You go and study at the one where you can afford to study, people. If it's free, go there. But remember, go there, you need to know what are they going to fund. Are they going to only fund your tuition? Or are they going to fund your tuition as well as your books and your accommodation? You need to know what the money costs because they're going to discuss that now. People, I often get students in class telling me, oh, I'm going to go and study pharmacy at Rhodes. How are you going to pay? Oh, I don't know. Where are you going to live? Oh, I don't know. It's fine to not know, but it's also important to find out what the answers are. But wonderful, that testimony, that guy actually got a bursary, I think a month before varsity started, and he got a bursary at Rhodes, and he's successful right now. But it's a matter of really putting yourself out there and being driven. So knowing where you want to study, I always encourage students or post-matrics, study at home. Because your meals are free, you've got support. When you started at 4 to 8, guys, lectures start at 4 to 8. The campuses are far, which means you probably have to start your day. What time to get there?
Got to leave home at like before 7.
I was up 5:30 because then I was supposed to go pick up my friends and then all
That's also good.
There you go. The realities thereof. And sometimes lectures finish at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, it doesn't matter. When you come home, you are finished. You want to be able to have a decent place where you're going to be sleeping, good meals so that your health is taken care of, and that your focus is there. And also when you've just had a day and you need a hug, mom or dad or whoever is there to do so. If you are still struggling with that whole thing of transitioning into a new city, that's another dynamic. So I often encourage people to study where you are and go do your postgraduate studies. Once you've got maturity in the studying and yourself, do postgraduate studies at a different university. But yes, it's overwhelming the options that are out there for you, as long as you realize you don't have to make this decision alone. But I'm going to let the rest of the people chat about those.
Yeah, okay. Can I update you guys on some of the questions that's been coming through? How do classes work? Yes. Is it like school? And then if you apply to uni, I don't know if you guys will be able to answer this. You may need to research it. If you apply to university and get accepted for the course, then do you automatically qualify for student accommodation? Okay. Okay, so that's separate. Oh, hold on, there's more questions. Okay.
That's what I jumped in again. Yeah. Few questions back about how you can up your marks. There is also the rewrites. Okay, we didn't mention those. Yeah. No.
Well, like rewrites.
No, rewrites for
Matric.
So you can rewrite either late year or earlier, and then you can still if you do it earlier, you can still in the same year apply for university. You have a second semester start, I think it is.
That will depend on the course.
On the course, yeah. But then another thing, there was a question on how do you know what to study. There's a form kind of thing that you can search on Google. It's basically, it uses your personalities and you answer the questions. I think it's a career form.
There's a name for it.
It's not the best thing to base your decision on, but it is there. And it takes your personalities and you answer the questions and it gives you like, okay, you'd be good at this and this and this. More
you got to be truthful, you can't lie to it. Because it's easy to read that.
And one more thing from my side. Speaking about a gap year. I wouldn't suggest taking 2 gap years, but I have decided I will take a second gap year. However, it is a very, very beneficial gap year.
Constructive work.
Yes, constructive schedule, I like to say. So this year, as I said before, I did this course, and then I'm supposed to be applying to university at NMU, which I got in, by the way. Also speaking about the universities you can go to, I also applied for university in Scotland. Now that is taking you completely out of Eastern Cape, completely out of South Africa, and going somewhere completely else. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I got in, just to put that in. Now, I got in, but sadly, I didn't qualify for funding. So there, on what ma'am said, you have to know what you can go qualify for and all that. But based on my decision to go to Scotland, I now also have gotten the opportunity to be in an apprenticeship with mechanical engineering. So it is another gap year. It isn't me studying, but as long as it's something that you know, you're doing something with it, you're learning something, you can take a second gap year. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can take it. What do you guys?
Just a quick thing. With applying to university, there are so many options that it's very overwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. Because I remember I was like, okay, mom, I want to do accounting. Then we go and apply, and then you click the drop down, and there's like 500 accounting courses, and you're like, which one do I take? So if you're not sure, just go into university, go talk to someone. The lady gave me a book of all the courses, what they called, what their numbers are, and everything. And it's not always your first course because you put two down. So if you don't make the first one, you can still make the second one. So take two that are more or less close to each other, so that if you don't get to the first one, you just go to the second one and then bridge back later.
I just like to touch on you said, when choosing what you want to do, I think you should get a hold of someone in the industry. That really helped me out a lot because I got a hold of an architect who's kind of like my mentor now. So he's showing me what the industry is like. And I think you should, all your interests, like whatever you want to do, even though it might be on your own when you don't know anything about the industry.
And sorry, one more thing. If you don't know anybody in those industries, you have people that you can ask. So what I believe is that the Dare to Dance family is a family. Yeah. So for instance, I know Adrian and Taryn, they have, I wouldn't say connections, but they know people.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. So you can always ask them, or even us, as we'll be going into maybe it's something that you want to go into, maybe mechanical engineering, something that you want to do. So, and a link will always be there, as you know, through Mamansa, to us, or wherever. So, if you don't know someone, there is other opportunities. There is people to talk to, and that's why the expert panel, experts, are here.
I think also on that, we shouldn't have that wall, that blockage in your mind of thinking, if I just call up a place that they're going to say no. I think you don't know until you make that decision. Like, you can call up someone if you want to get hold of like a mechanical, someone who's a mechanical engineer, call the firm and ask, do they do job shadowing? Do they do this? Because you won't know until you ask. So take that first step. It might boost you. They might like your confidence. Maybe if you start studying, they might think, that guy, you get a job, you know. So
yeah. Okay. What was that again?
Okay, so yes, there's another question on the gap year. But what we'll do is we'll do a separate one. So everyone listening, I think what we'll do is if you are interested in the Dare to Dance learnership, we can do a separate thing. You can send us a message because there's an interesting question I want you guys to touch on. Is it easy to meet new people / friends in university, or does everyone normally stick with their high school group?
Yes.
I'll go. Oh, you're gonna go first.
Okay, so I'll bring it from our side now.
Okay.
So I've been out of high school for like 4 years now, right? Not one person that I was mates with and like hung out for like 5 days a week at high school, like I didn't hang out with them for like the first 3 years of university because they were doing other things. You know, they went and studied fine art, the other guys studied marketing and whatnot, and I'm here in the IT department. So, you know, you've got to learn to make new friends. So you will make new friends. And at least at NMU, like a lot of the modules, they force you to do group work.
No, you don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice, right? A lot of it's like solo, and a lot of it's actually self-study, which is something we also will touch on. But like, you will meet new people, and I think the great thing is that like, university has every type of person. Like you think like, okay, high school, there's like 120 people in my grade, you know? But now there's like 500 people just in your like one lecture that you're having, right? And then like it's not even those 500 people that are in every one of your other lectures. Like they keep like it's always different people. So you're always going to be able to find like a group for yourself that you fit into. And even if that first group that you meet isn't the group you end up with, that's also fun. That happens. But yeah, I mean, I still keep in contact with my high school buddies.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't really meet up with them anymore.
I think for me, I was thrown into the deep end because absolutely no one from my school is on the campus where I'm at. So I was the only one. So I was really forced to meet new people. And just touching on what you said was like not being in touch with other people. It's okay to outgrow your friends. I think that's a bit of like a discipline situation. But it's okay to outgrow your friends. If they don't help you grow, then frankly I believe that you can leave them behind because it's better for you. So, but that's a whole discussion for another day.
I mean, like, it's not even about like outgrowing them. It's like sometimes you just don't speak. Like, I mean, it's not like kind of like a, oh my word, you realize who your true friends are when you don't like spend like 5 days. No, it happens. You guys don't speak. Like, studying is rough. Like, imagine doing like school and then, you know, like you have to do school and then still keep a friendship going with the guy that's outside. It's hard. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. So it's okay to like to grow apart with your friends, like you know, but like so don't get sour about it. I would say
Because everybody at uni is busy.
Yeah.
If they're doing their work.
Yeah.
So if you're busy and I don't speak to Neil, he just needs to know that hey, I'm doing my thing. I want to be successful, and I will respect him if he wants to be successful and he's doing his thing. So don't treat it as a man, I think off type of situation because we all want to be somewhere someday. So I think that if you leave things behind, then, or if you just don't speak to each other.
Okay, one more question here. Can you choose whether you want to rewrite an exam after you've received your final mark? So you're writing matric, you receive your final mark and you decide to rewrite then, or do you have to rewrite before the results are released?
You rewrite after. So you get your results and then you get a form and then you fill in the form and you take it to the office and they say, okay, you can rewrite next year. So you rewrite the following year.
And or just a question, do you have to pay for that? I think maybe.
No, you don't pay. You don't pay for rewriting, but you pay for remarking.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Per paper.
But I don't know about that. I don't do that.
I believe it's per paper.
Yeah.
so.
Touch on the whole friendship.
Yes,
thing.
from a lady's perspective.
Can we come back to it because that's how we can definitely speak about. I just want to get through these questions that were asked like forever. So one, if you get accepted into university, you do not automatically apply for res. That's a different application. Yeah. The other thing is timetables, classes, and modules. A great thing when picking your degree, like Dieter said, like you want to study accounting, and then you go look at all the accounting courses, and there's like 10 billion. Go into them and see what the subjects are that they do.
Yeah.
Because like for me, like with IT, there's like BSc computer science, which is the science computer science, there's the BSc information systems, and there's BCom computer science and information systems, and it's like, well, all of them are going to lead to me making programs, so which one do I take? So what you do is you look through the modules and you're like, ooh, that one has applied maths and physics and chemistry and no thank you, and then you go for the one that's like, oh, okay, like it's got these ones and whatnot. So look through the modules and then you'll kind of see like which course is for you. Also, when it comes to timetables and classes, you will have your list of modules, right? And because the university is just kind of one big conference venue, different classes or different modules will have classes scheduled at times, right? So you just kind of go to the first one of those classes that you have, and then they'll explain like, okay, they might have duplicate lectures. So like, okay, we have a lecture on a Monday and a Wednesday.
9 and 10.
And then so like you come to one of those because they're going to be the same lectures because sometimes there's so many people taking that they need to have two. And then another thing, it's kind of like, it's really, sometimes you'll have like the lectures like one after each other, but other times you can have like 4 hour gaps in between.
The first one of the day and the last one of the
Yeah,
day.
so it really just depends on the schedule that's set up that year for those modules that you're doing.
And the way you set it up for
And the-
yourself.
and the
Because
way
you
that
need
you-
to
yeah.
choose which, because you get lecture 1, 2, and 3, and then duplicate 1, 2, and 3. You need to go, okay, I'm gonna take this one, and then that one. And then for the next module, I'm gonna take this one and that one. And then for the next one, this one and that one. But then you can't because this one is matching this, you need to change the other one. So it just depends how you set up the schedule. But when you set up the schedule, stick to it because the lectures change, like they're different between the two lectures, and they don't go at the same speed. So stick to your lecture that you chose from the beginning.
And then another thing is, like Taryn brought it up, like, okay, you get funding and whatnot, but then like, do they cover your modules and your textbooks and the raise and whatnot? It's like, books are expensive. Okay, textbooks are damn expensive. And if
Give
you're
an
going like
example of a cost for a textbook.
1,500
There we
go.
One textbook.
For one textbook that you will use maybe 3 times. You know, kind of like, it sounds like a scam and it is. So, I mean, there are ways around it. You can find PDF versions that may or may not be legal. But for
Like the legal way, kids.
yes, like a lot of the times, the modules will require like the newest edition. So like
You can't just
so
go
you
buy
can't find the
second-hand
PDF,
books, you need to buy new.
you know, because it's too new and I go, so like like when they say, hey, there's this textbook for this module, and you'll have like 7 modules per semester, and there's 2 semesters with like 2 different textbooks, like, you know, kind of thing. So when you get like $1,500, it's like $1,500 for a textbook, just so that you guys are aware. Yeah.
Got others.
And then you got like 6 others.
Yeah. So I think also with like finding funding, or finding well, to be able to pay for these things like res and textbooks. If you go online and just search South African universities, there is a website there. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a list of careers, and there is companies that offer bursaries, and they'll tell you there in the description what they cover, like the accommodation or books, whatever. But it will also give you an opportunity to get a job afterwards, to work back those hours. So now you know that your funding is covered and there is a possible placement for the job. So I think that works out really well. So really do your research. And then to apply, they tell you everything you need, like the CV, ID documents, everything is on the website. So if you look, you might find funding. So I think that's a really good idea.
Can we hold on quickly? We've got 3 more questions. Tara wants to share on friendship. I think it's important that we hear from a lady, her perspective as well. And then we are running out of time. So guys, if you can hear me, just chat on the group. Should we do another follow-up session like this? Because there's some really good questions that we want to get to. So Tyler, over to you, and then we'll get to those last few questions.
Okay. So as most people know, friendship is a two-way street, and making friendships work after school is extremely difficult, but really worth it if you can pull up your weight, and both of you can pull up your weight and make it work. I'm very fortunate where I don't have a large group of friends, so I don't have that many people I need to keep in contact with, but it's still very difficult. I'm lucky at the moment. I keep in contact with my friends, but not on an everyday basis. It's very different to being at school where you see each other all the time, and to seeing each other, for us, once a month, every 2 months. But we tend to make it a point to have at least a video call once a month to kind of touch base, and I think that's very important, because when we actually do that, we talk, and you know, it's kind of like everything's like how it used to be. But there are friends that kind of decide that they don't want to make an effort, and yes, that's okay. But I also am a big believer on talking things out. So if you are going on a different path, I would appreciate it if you came and spoke to me and said, I'm doing this. I don't think our friendship is going in that route. And basically just letting them know instead of cutting them off
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
that.
Well, like just not making excuses, those
Yeah.
people.
Be straightforward.
Yeah, be straightforward, not in a rude way, not in
Yeah.
a rude, but really be straightforward. Don't like make lies in a sense.
Okay.
We're adults, we're civilized.
Yeah.
Last two questions, very quickly. And I do think we may need to do this again because there were some really good questions here. Last two from Tasman and Carden. Would you guys suggest working while studying? Or is it too much? And the second question is, between lectures, is it safe to sit around the campuses, or is safety a bigger issue?
Okay, I'll start this off. So just so you guys have some background, when I was at the end of my second year, right, I got an opportunity to intern at a software development company that was like 5 minutes away from campus. It was great, So I started there, and it was like 30 hours a week, which is a lot when you sub that up into a day. But that was over the holiday, right? And then I got given the option like, hey, do you want to continue kind of working part-time while you're doing your third year? And I was like, yes, I'm so keen. I get bank and I can study, hell yeah, kind of thing. And then I'll have like a job like after I'm done. And it's hard. It is really, really hard because it's like, I mean, even now I'm doing my honors and I'm working. So from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm working, and then like after that I still got to do all my assignments, all my tutorials, all my like projects and stuff, and it's rough. So it's doable. I mean, I even waited at a point. I waited and I studied, kind of before the internship came along. And so it's doable, but you got to make sure that you time manage because, but also don't let your studies like fail because you're working and you're tired from working, because working is also a different kind of exhaustion. So yeah, it's doable. If you can, go for it, but don't beat yourself up and grind yourself to a pulp just because like you want to do both. And then campus safety was that? Wait, any idea about working and studying?
I just like to say, if you have worked before, okay, and you have some experience, then it will be a bit better.
Yeah.
But also, it depends on you if you can handle it. If you can't handle all the stress and all the, then don't push yourself. Take it easy. Do your studying, that's fine. But it depends on you. It depends on if you can handle the workload. If not, then study should come first before your work, because it's just a time pass and all that. But yeah, I was showing what the safety. So I don't go to university, so my brother does. And I want to push this and say, get your driver's license. It is important.
Yes.
It is important. But I'd like to say, I'm not too sure on the safety, but I know when he has his morning classes and then his late classes, he goes in the car and he sleeps. So there's always that opportunity. I don't know if it's that safe, but it seems to be that safe.
So it's like campus is just kind of like an extension of like the city that you're in. There's parts of PE you don't go into at certain times of the day or night, kind of thing. And it's the same with campus, like, and it's very much just about like be wary, like. Okay, speaking from a male perspective, which is really like kind of like, like you sometimes you write tests in the evening and it'll be like winter, so like 6 o'clock it's dark, and then you walk out of there and it's 8 o'clock, and it's dark. Like, just make sure you're always in a group, and then just like like make sure you're just in the lit areas because like it's easy to stay safe. And like for me, there hasn't been like a lot of like I mean, okay, NMU's had a lot of like incidents, you know whatnot, but I mean, like it's few and far between, and they get like blown up, and then like things happen, you know, and then it's chilled again. So like I would say yes, you can sleep in your car. Like I've had a nap on the grass on campus before.
You know that big rock?
Yeah, dude, like there are some great sunny spots on campuses, you know, where you just doors and
That's the best one.
and the great thing about university is that guys lead you. Okay?
Yeah.
If you're sleeping there like yo, I feel that I wish I could join him, but I have to go to class now. You know, so it's like I would say campus is safe. Just be cautious when you need to be.
You should always be cautious and always be ready.
Anyway,
Yeah. I don't know, there were riots? Were there riots?
Yeah, so the riots are a different story completely. But like I mean, so but even then the riots have gotten better. Like the 2016 riots were like madness. You know, campuses were shut down. There were police vans, water cannons. You know, it was madness. But then after that, you know, there were protests and shutdowns and whatnot. But it was besides the one incident, there were a paintball SWAT team that came to campus, you know, to like deter protesters. You know, besides like that, it's been kind of just like guys will chill by the entrances to the different campuses, and they'll like block off so no one can get in, no one can get out. Kind of well, they let guys out. And then that's kind of it. And then the police are standing nearby and they're like making sure that no one's like shooting shots or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's
Okay.
it. Let us say goodbye to everyone, and then we'll have a follow-up. I think this was great, guys. Did you enjoy it? Yeah, so thank you. You guys say thank you to everybody. Say goodbye to them.
Thank you so much for actually giving us questions.
Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe.
Subscribe. I've noticed that only a small percentage actually.